And one. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tech Down Over. Today, it's just Jeff and me. It's Jeff Blanchard in Melbourne, Australia. How are you, Jeff?
Good, thank you, Rick. I say it's just me at the moment on the screen by the looks of it.
Let me get us back on here. There we go. There we go. I was on the wrong shot. We're trying something new today. We are going through Zoom. So Jeff logged into the Zoom meeting, and we're getting better color from Jeff. The audio is a lot better. It's pretty impressive. So let's run our intro, and then we get going with the show. Here we go. We are back. I don't think that was the whole intro, but it must not have.
No, I think we started. It was started.
It wasn't reset, so that's okay. We'll talk about that on.
Just a quick intro.
We'll talk about that on Tuesday. So, anyway, so everything seems to be working pretty well with Zoom. Like I said, if I go back to your shot, I'm seeing a lot more color. The colors are more vibrant. Your sound is better than it's been in ages. So I'm thinking Skype was our biggest problem.
I think it might be because I go to a lot of trouble to make sure the sound is good. It's outputting it. I've got the best of the mics, best processor, everything else going in there. And so it gets a bit disappointing when you go onto Skype and it just sounds like you've got a rubbishy mic.
Yeah, and Leslie always asks me, what's wrong with his web? What was his audio? He sucks. I go, he's got the same equipment I do. He's got great equipment. It sucks. It's like, I don't know. And you know what? I think it was Skype.
And I think so too, because when I do it, but on my end with the difference in Skype at that early time in the morning with the weekly catch-up, don't have any problems. The audio comes through really nicely.
Right, it's probably the time.
Yeah, and now, Rick, this one, so Zoom we're going through. Yes. So is that's not part of the vMix?
No. This is not vMix Call. This is Zoom. Which is a meeting platform. And so you can have meetings with Zoom, kind of like a Hangout, but it's a little nicer. And it was very easy to set up. This didn't take much at all. So I'd say it looks pretty good. I can send you, if you want, the Zoom ID. And then if you want to try Zoom with Jeff, that might work on your show.
Yeah, it does stream okay. We're streaming, are we? So
yeah, we are streaming. I haven't heard anybody come in and say, you're not streaming.
Oh, well, they're checking that. That's fine. So that's really good if we are streaming and doing that, because to make that, when you sent me that invitation, it was just so easy. You know, like a lot of new platforms when you're joining these meeting
fearful,
platforms. You have to have 3 days worth of practice to set them up to make sure. You sent me an invitation. I clicked on the link. It says enter in the ID from the thing. Oh, okay. And I thought, let's check your audio. Check that. Oh, it's coming through the way I'd liked it. Check video. Which camera do you want? If you're doing that, set everything else up. While I'm waiting for that, then you start the meeting. You're just there.
So I could see why Skype has competition. And supposedly this meeting invite, we didn't make this one recurring. Only because we were rushing and we weren't sure what we were doing. But we'll make this meeting recurring. We'll probably either send you a new one or update this one to be recurring, so we don't have to redo all that. The next time it'll just be up there.
That's right. And then you just have to...
Well, you want to know something?
Just click on the same link.
When you logged in, or I guess when you logged in before we called you, it said, hurry, your attendees are waiting. I got an email. And I went, he must have gotten just in. Did you get it about 10:02?
Yes, I did.
And it told me, you're in, your attendees are waiting, get on. So we rushed over into the studio, and sure enough, there you were.
I'll tell you what, you're lucky, because sometimes I don't check my emails before I come onto the show.
Oh,
so that came in at 3 a.m. this morning. So,
gosh.
But I quite often try to, because just in case something's happened and the show's cancelled or you've got power outages. Right. Sometimes I forget, and I would have been sat there on. But then again, you would have, if I didn't turn up on time, you would have buzzed me on Skype and said, "Hey, did you just look at your email and do that?" But it's
so anyway, folks. This is our technical conversation. We're sharing it with you, and so you have an idea of what we go through, the pain and suffering every single week for you.
Just to try and make things better, because I think, like you and I are both the same, Rick. It's yes, you could just get away with anything, but the whole point of doing this, you try to. It's a practicing area as well for us, because we want to get it better.
Professional. We want to be as professional as we can be.
We do, and that's half the fun. There's no fun going out there because anybody can do a horrible picture and a horrible this. You have your equipment and you pay good money for it, and you want it to shine. So, like we said before, when we've spent good money on mics, and then somebody says, "God, that sounds horrible."
I know, and we're going, "No, it doesn't. It sounds good to us." But that, so Skype is there to make sure that you sound and we all sound like crap. I love Skype. Now, mind you, there are good things about Skype. It's just that Skype is not as good as it used to be, frankly. Too many issues, too many bandwidth problems, too many auto settings that you can't fix. They take over whether you like it or not.
And I've noticed before, I nearly got late again today because I was busy watching Elaine chat. Oh. And every time you ask Tracy a question, she looked stunned because she froze.
I know. It's like,
and the most important part, it always froze. And poor Tracy was trying to respond to something. She said, "Have I missed something?"
Have I missed something? Oh, not much. We had a small sideshow, and then you came back to life. But yeah, it's a shame sometimes, and it was doing it a lot. And I don't know honestly if that's a Skype issue or if it's a bandwidth. I know here internally we have very good bandwidth, so I tend to think it's not us, but I think sometimes I really think it's Skype more than bandwidth.
Well, I do too, because when we started this show, my computer was on. It had about, what was it? It was about 8 megabits down and 0.5 up.
Wow, that was low. Yeah,
but it worked perfectly when we first started.
Right.
That was fine, and then we upgraded. Now I've got 100 down and 50 up.
Which is really good.
But we get worse and worse than I did on the older one. So I thought it can't be bandwidth. It must be sort of
Now, you don't have those issues when you do the show with Jeff on the weekly catch-up? No. So that's when Skype's dead.
Yeah.
They're quiet, nothing's going on. So you probably get all the bandwidth.
Occasionally, you get and it's usually at the end of it because it's getting later. You might get the occasional one where it gets a bit fuzzy, when it's probably trying to switch connections to make a good signal, and then it comes good, but it's only for a second. But like me and you, we get the whole show that goes. It will go for the whole 40 minutes badly, won't it?
Yeah.
But hey. I'm still amazed at how something that you don't pay anything for, you can do so much with. Whereas 20, 30 years ago, if you just wanted to talk to somebody in America, it would cost you $50 to have
or
this
more.
Conversation.
I made a call. I made a call to Mexico about 5-6 years ago, and I forgot. I thought we had a plan, and the plan had changed. So and of course, I didn't know. No one tells me anything, and we talked for half an hour, and it cost me $130. I was like, $130 for half an hour? It should have been like $5. But no, I didn't realize the plan had changed, and we weren't on a plan at that moment for long distance. Now we have voice over IP. It doesn't matter. You get long distance no matter what, and they don't charge you much. But
the thing is with mobile cell phones these days, like we have the problem here when we go overseas, and if I'm using it a lot, and you get charged these exorbitant rates. And if somebody calls me on my phone while I'm in America, I have to pay the international. What do they call roaming rates? The international roaming. That I'm in America, but the thing is, people have come back with thousands of dollars bills. But the reason, well, why is it so damn expensive? The only reason it's so damn expensive is because it takes them so much to track you and to bill you. And it's just costing. If they just said, "Hey, there's so many Americans come over here, so many Australians go over there. Let's just use each other's service and just have the standard local cost."
Yeah. Now I've been thinking of using. Have you heard of WhatsApp?
Yes, I'll do that. I talked to my cousin from England, but she's in Hong Kong at the moment.
Okay.
And it's just like a regular phone,
and it's free, right?
And it's free.
So I'll set you up. Let's do send me your phone number, and I'll set you up. You have my phone number.
Yeah.
And let's see if we can get WhatsApp to work, because I'm hearing from people it's a great way to talk. The quality is excellent, and you don't have to pay for those ridiculous roaming and long. They charge you data, but data's not that bad.
No, it's just it's your normal data. So if you've got even on a phone, if you've got 2.5 gigs for a month, you're going to get tons of things out of that. It's not that much because it's not. It's just the standard internet connection, and most of the time you don't go on there for a 20-minute conversation. But what I use it for as well is with my cousin, and so she can speak to my mother as well. So I get the WhatsApp with the phone and have the Bluetooth speaker that's got the microphone in it.
Okay.
And put that in there so it's loud, so she doesn't have to hold the phone up. So we can all have, and it's like on speakerphone, and it's so much better than the phone, and it's so damn clear.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
The thing is with WhatsApp as well, you just do messages as well, so you can type an SMS.
Okay, right.
And then you keep in contact that way, so you don't have to just phone. You can just still do a message. And the only time it doesn't work is when your phone's out of reach of a tower, and then that means you can't make a call anyway. So what's the difference? It's so good. I don't know who owns WhatsApp.
I don't know, but if you're on Wi-Fi also, there's no charge at all, because on Wi-Fi you're not paying for data.
No, that's right. And these days, nearly every place has got shopping mall
hotspot. Of course, you have to be careful because those are not secured.
No,
that's your phone is at risk at that point. So are your accounts and everything else. So I always recommend to people, don't tie into Starbucks or wherever you're going, because you are at risk unless you have special software that acts as kind of a VPN type thing where it's a firewall. But there are apps that can do that, but you still have to be really, really careful.
Yeah, you don't want. The thing is, as well, with most people, your phone data is more than enough for the month. Like, we've got here, there's a crowd here called Kogan, and they do all these outrageous phone deals, and I'm waiting for my phone to go out of contract, because what this one has, it will cost me for, I think it's $325 for the year, and that's unlimited phone calls.
Oh, it's not bad.
Unlimited text, and 20 gigabyte of data a month.
Oh, that's excellent.
Because you'd never use, I struggle on a phone. I can't use 20 gigabytes. No. But then you're not worried about. You could stream it to do your tether your laptop when you're out for hours, and so you don't need any of these dangerous Wi-Fi spots. And
no, that's wonderful. That's actually pretty cool. And that's on your iPhone. You have an iPhone, right?
And this for any phone, it is.
Okay.
But the thing is, what this is you buy the chip, and you can transfer your number from your current carrier and keep your number.
Okay.
You just have the chip, and then at the end of the year, you just pay it again. And so that works out to about $25 a month, I think.
That's not bad at all.
You can get one which is about $6 a month, which is maybe 5 gig a month. And if you're a low user, it's next to nothing for using the phone. And I thought the only thing it doesn't do is international roaming. But hey, 99% of the time you're at home, aren't you?
And that's what you have WhatsApp for. Overseas, and that's what you have WhatsApp for.
And when you go overseas, quite often you get another SIM card of the country you're going to, if you're that keen. But you said most of the time, it doesn't matter if you've got the WhatsApp, you've got an internet connection. But that's the thing is, when you go overseas, you won't have your data connection.
Right, but, that's true. Oh, you're right. You do lose the data connection, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be on Wi-Fi.
But that's okay. But there's other companies here where you can buy a card for when you're going overseas. So it does your own number and charge you a certain rate, so you can always organise that. And let's face it, when was the last time you was out of the country, Rick?
It's been a while. While.
So I mean, it's not a consideration. You can figure that out for when the small time, like even me, if I was going once a year. Hey, it's a couple of 10 days out of your whole life each year.
And I don't even know what country I actually live in anymore. It's not the one I grew up in. It's really a weird country right now. So
which one?
The U.S. It's a very strange country. It's getting better, hopefully. We'll see. I have my doubts.
Well, that's right.
Not until we start going after all these idiots and crazies who go around shooting people and everything else. And, that's a whole other issue. But
that's what it's just, we were saying the other day. My heart goes out to all those people in Las Vegas. But I mean, but even then, you just see how some people there's still good people out there. Those people who just put themselves in the firing line to save other people.
I know, it's amazing.
And
the sad thing is, this is painting to be another 9/11, another false flag, and for power, money, whatever. It's just sick. So we will see. We'll see what happens, and nobody ever goes to jail on these things ever. They all either die or get moved out of the country quietly. It's just crazy.
There was a good little comment I saw on one thing out there that somebody said in the early 80s there was a fire at the MGM Grand that killed 150 people or something, and it said 2 days later the fire regulations changed and they did something to stop it from happening again.
Right.
Said all these things happen, nothing ever happens. Nothing changes.
Nothing ever changes. It's sort of sad.
Said, I know you can't do gun. You can't just wipe the people who say just get rid of guns.
Well, first of all, this was not normal guns, and they're not saying what kind of gun it was, but you can't shoot 50 to 85 rounds in a row, large caliber rounds, unless it's military grade weaponry.
And it's not easy to do that. So it's
very expensive to get licenses for that or to even buy that kind of material, unless you're a criminal.
But as I said, it's not as easy as it sounds. Anyway, let's get on to lighter things.
So now, from a technical point of view, now you've learned about WhatsApp, you've learned about Zoom for meetings and for a Skype replacement. So we have been technical. We just kind of deviate every so often. But so what's new? What's new in your tech world, Jeff?
Nothing much. I'm still humming and hawing about getting a new camera, getting the GH5. I'm going to the lengths of thinking of maybe doing a trip to England just so I can justify buying a new camera.
That would be cool. You know what, though? I tell you, camera-wise, I would get a GH5 probably because it also takes beautiful pictures, and get the Metabones converter because then all your Canon lenses look really, really good. It's pretty amazing. You can get Sigma and Tascam. I have all of those, and they work beautifully with that Metabones. So it all of a sudden makes your camera now no longer a small one. It looks like an APS-C sensor with the Metabones. It's so clean. Now, this week, I was seriously considering getting that 6D Mark II, and then I started looking at it, and then I saw a lot of limitations. For example, focusing. You've got a whole 49, that I had that on the, I think, 70D or 80D? 80, I think, had more, but 49 whole pixels. Even the 7D Mark II had more than that. And you go, okay, so they're all cross type, but still, that's not a lot of pixels, and they're all in the center.
The focus points, you mean?
Yeah,
not
all
pixels.
the focus points are in the center of your chip, so you don't in the sensors, so you don't really have anything you can do to the sides. So now you've got to frame your pictures just so, and that's going to limit how you do things. And if you go portrait versus landscape, you're even more limited because now you got to put the head somewhere in between where the sensor would be, because you're not going to get top or bottom focus the way you want it. Some other things, no headphone jack, that's an irritant. Video has a lot of limitations, and it only does 1080p, no 4K. They said the dynamic range is good, so that's a plus. I think it's got 9 or 11 stops of dynamic range, not too bad. A nice 26 megapixel sensor. That's not bad. You can get nice pictures out of that. Fairly good. It's got up to 100,000 in extended ISO. So I'd say it's a very good low light camera. I think it does up to 50,000 or 40-something thousand regular. And then your extended ISO is about 100,000. So those are all good things. And then you start looking at the limitations going, no, a whole 5 frames. I think it was 5 or 6 frames a second. Not real fast. I mean, with the GH5, what do we get? I think it's close to 15 on some shots.
I thought the 11. I thought it was
11.
Like
I think there's a way you can get more, I think if you go to a smaller sensor size or whatever, I thought there was one way you can get more, but I may be wrong.
Yeah.
But still, 11 versus 5 or 6, that's quite a difference. Focusing is probably fast, but it's not as fast as something like a Micro Four Thirds camera. And I'm thinking, if you're going to spend $2,000 on that for $1,200 more, you can get a Nikon D850, which is a gorgeous camera. Though on the other hand, now you're stuck with having to buy new lenses, or maybe you can get I don't know if there's a Canon adapter for Nikon. I don't hear much about that.
I don't think there is. You can go there isn't. I think you can go the other way, but you can't go from Canon to Nikon. I think you can go Nikon to Canon. Can you?
Yeah. Now Ken Wheeler the other day said something. I think yesterday he said from one of his sources, for the first time ever, Fujifilm is outselling Nikon. Huh? Now that's pretty bad.
Because even though whatever you say with the Nikon, like that 810 or the 850, the pictures that come out of them just have it's like everyone has their own look, but they do look really nice, don't they?
They're beautiful.
Even the 1080p, it just looks something special. It does look really good.
Well, remember when I had the Nikon D750 and the 810? Yes. The 810, the picture quality was gorgeous. The textures of the picture were so beautiful. And on the D750, I actually love that camera, even though it had some problems, according to some people. Mine didn't have any problems. And the quality I used Tamron lenses on it. I used some Nikon lenses, but oh my gosh, it looks so good. I love the pictures in shadows. You could see everything. And I was really sad. I sold both the D750s I had because I didn't want to invest in another line at the time. But I do miss that one. They were good.
Yes, I nearly got one of them because it was just such a nice camera to hold.
Yes,
and it was a deep, but it did.
Oh, that deep
I know
grip.
It only had 1080p video, but the 1080p video was just so crisp and clear. Yeah. I could have put up with that only being 1080p.
Yeah,
because let's face it, you don't have to have 4K, but you want it, so you can do more with it. You can always downgrade, but you can't upgrade if you're just doing the 1080p.
Right.
But a lot of the times, I'm tempted to go and do some filming on things and ask people how great that is and see if they say, "Oh, it's really good," and just then reveal how it's on a lower end camera. Like I've just picked out one of my old Sony Cybershot shot cameras.
Yeah,
I'm redoing that, and I thought it's a 7 megapixel camera, and it takes really good pictures. I've got some really nice pictures out of that, and I thought, you pay all this money for these other ones, and these cheap point and shoot do some really damn excellent shots out there.
Yeah,
so I want to bring that out and see if I can do some more shooting with that. I'm just charging the batteries up again to recommission that.
Even on that new Note 8 that I got, the Samsung Note 8, it has dual cameras, dual 12 megapixel cameras. It's got very good low light, and it has even I think I showed you last week, you can even take shots with depth of focus in them, and then you just go depth of field. I mean, that's like, wow, that actually looks pretty good. And that's hard to find now. I mean, there's a lot of good cell phone cameras, but some of them aren't that good. So this has dual cameras, dual 12 megapixels, one wide, one normal. And they do some pretty cool stuff with that. But you're right. You can do really nice cameras. You don't need, really, it's how you deal with light and how you deal with framing. That's really what it comes down to, your lighting and your framing. And the rest is all whatever you do afterwards. And I don't do a lot of posts on my pictures, very rarely. But it is fun sometimes to add things to it and make things a little bit more exciting and interesting. But
and that's about the only downside with the cell phone is that you sometimes just don't know what you're recording, because when you're outside you can't see the screen.
Right.
So
That's so true.
You're just aiming it in that area and hoping you're getting that. So that's about the only limitation. But if you can see it, if it's in a dark room, you can get some excellent qualities out of it.
Yes.
It's just that a video camera or a normal camera, you can see what you're doing a bit better. But as I said, it's getting to that stage where, remember years ago where you had your normal film camera, your 35 millimeter film camera, and you had your digital, and you said, nah, film's still just as good, it's getting that way with cell phones and normal camera. Oh no, they're not as good as that. And it'll get to that stage with them that says, what's the difference?
Now, what mic are you using today?
I'm using the Sound Projects.
Oh, okay.
The Sound Pro, so you can see.
Yep, I thought it was that, but I wasn't quite sure.
Hang on, here it is. You'll see. See, there it is.
Yep,
There's the Sound Projects there.
It's a beautiful little mic.
Yeah, it is, but it's just, and it's really does do a great job. I do like that. That mic. It does a really excellent job. Because I'm telling you,
today I think we've gotten the best sound of you ever by getting off of Skype.
Yes, I'm just quite amazed with this.
There's no nothing. System. It's just clean.
But but it just does amaze me that how easy it was to start off. Because sometimes whenever we start a new process, it takes about a week of us having a test, do this, do that. You book the meeting, we said, let's go with it, and we're on.
And it's beautiful.
Like 30 seconds after we start, this is the first time you've done it.
Yep. Very first time. We haven't even done a test. I mean, of course, that's...
Well, this is so because
this is sort of a test show, but it worked beautifully, and it sounds good.
So, Rick...
How many minutes are we on so far?
32 minutes.
32. So we got 8 more minutes, and it's over.
Oh, okay. So we better go. Hi, right?
Hey!
So
next week we've got Larry Becker back on. We love Larry Becker. So.
That's what I'm looking forward to, that, because I haven't seen him talk to him for ages, but I just love what he does. Yep. And I was watching one of his the other day, and no matter what you do and how much you learn, you always pick little bits up, and that's exactly what and it's when you like the person and you watch them and listen to them, you pick things up where sometimes if they don't appeal to you, they might be saying the best things out,
right? But
Larry's just so appealing and so nice to watch, so I'll be interested to see what he's been up to. And
he's one of my absolute favorites. We've been trying to locate Benoit. He's disappeared. Corey Benoit. He's gone. We can't get a hold of him. Nothing works. So I'm hoping if anybody out there has seen Corey Benoit, let us know where he is, because we're worrying about him, because we can't get a hold of him in anything. Emails don't get to him. LinkedIn, nothing. So either that or he turned us off. I don't think he would. He was a good friend. Good. He's been a co-host on the show. He's been just a great guy, and so we're wondering if he's fine, if he's okay. If anybody knows him, let us know if you've seen him, and tell him the guys from Tech Down Over, Rick and Jeff, just love him. Where is he?
Yeah, as I said, always loved it. Like, how many people can you sit through a 48-minute review of the Nikon D750?
Yep, and you don't get tired of it.
And then for 45 minutes... Like, what do you do? You've got to be interested to sit.
And you know what's funny, Jeff? I've watched that review of the 750 3 times.
Yeah,
in its entirety.
And you just think how much time and money it takes Hollywood to get you to sit to watch 45 minutes. It would cost tens of millions, wouldn't it?
I know.
Production, where you can have a cameraman just film something. So it's got nothing to do with the production. It's all got to do with the content and the presenter. It just amazes me how we can sit through hours and hours of things where Hollywood spend billions to get us to watch things.
Now next week I'm going to do a review of Peter Gregg's A Better White Balance card.
So
we actually bought it this week, but we ordered the wrong product. We bought A Better Balance card, which is also pretty cool. He puts this in front of a flash, and you get very nice, soft flashes that look great. So we'll talk about that too, but I'm going to try to do a video for next week so that we can talk about his white balance, and then we're going to say, Peter, you need to come on and talk with us. We've been trying to get him on for over a year. Peter's a good guy. He does good work. He seems like a really gentle soul. We'd love to have you on, Peter. Come join us.
Yeah, I love watching him. It's just so nice and friendly. It's just I don't know him, but every time I watch him, it feels like, oh, there he is.
Yeah, it's like an old friend.
A friend that's just, even though I don't know him, but the way he talks, it's like
you and I both love dogs, and he's got Jingles, and Jingles was hurt once, and we were all going, oh no, what happened to Jingles? It's like after a while you get to feel for these people, because it's almost like you know them. And even though I have corresponded a couple of times with him, but he has not yet agreed. Well, he sort of said he would come on the show, but then he didn't. I think his father passed away, and he was really, you know how that goes. You're bummed out.
I think we should start up, Rick. I think how like they have Comic Com and all this thing with all the nerds and comics get together. They should have a Las Vegas meetup for all us podcasters. All these ones send it out and have a big meetup.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun. Maybe not Vegas. Vegas is a little dangerous now.
But say somewhere where everybody's going. That's that's the best way in America. closest for everybody. I thought, wouldn't that be fantastic to
Yep.
meet all your heroes, all your people?
It'd be fun.
There's so many people, and you thought, oh, that's right, I've talked to him and Hare. And
now, I guess the closest to that is going
fantastic.
to NAB. A lot of the podcasters show up at NAB. So maybe next year or the year after, we'll go to NAB and just have a good time.
Oh, well, that's right. Go to NAB, but beforehand, we'll do some marketing to get people. Let's organize a session, or organize a booth, or a date and time for everybody to meet up at an event. That would be good. A great thing.
So we must be about near the end of our time.
36 minutes. So
36,
I wonder if
we
just
got
get
about
cut off.
3-4 more minutes. But you know what? This was fun. Zoom has been very good. You look great on Zoom. And
so now, Rick, that was the end title.
I went a little too fast there.
I thought it
rapid
even
fingers
does the end titles for you.
Yeah.
I thought it even does the end titles for you.
Sorry about that.
Hey, but with that Zoom though, Rick, do you? So we've got you get a free subscription at first, but then if you want longer, you pay more. Do you?
I think only if you go longer, they charge a credit card. So we haven't given them a credit card yet. At least I don't think we have. And so we'll take a look at that on Monday or Tuesday and set up an account to make sure that if we ever do go longer, because sometimes we like going longer, then in that case we will set it up. By the way, have you noticed we have about 7 or 8 audio podcasts up already?
I've tried to go into them and I couldn't find it. I'll look at Podbean.
They're there now. It's under Relaycasts if you go to Apple iTunes or if you go to Podbean. Relaycasts.podbean.com or Pocket Casts. You'll find us.
I'll have a look again.
Yeah, it's under Relaycasts.
Oh,
they sound good. That
means really we've made it now if we've gone in the iTunes store.
Yep, we're in the iTunes store. There's, I think, 6 or 7 out, or 7 or 8 maybe.
Yeah.
So it's great. So now we have audio for all you guys who've been dying for audio. That's it. We got it. Yeah. So anyway, well, hey, Jeff, it's always good talking. And now we can actually hear you cleanly. There's no distortion. This is wonderful. And for all you people in the audience, we will see you next week. Don't forget, Larry Becker is going to be on. Don't miss it. He's got some announcements to make that are cool. And we will see you guys next time. Take care, Jeff.
Bye for now.